Hi there, welcome to Transcona Trailer Sales. Today I'm going to be walking you through your 2024 Surveyor 252 Rble. If you notice at the top there, you are pre-wired for an observation camera. If you're looking to get into that, you can talk to our parts department and they can get you a quote to get set up for that. You also do have the pre-mount for the Lippert stair system, so you can get up to your roof and check your seals. Also at the back of the unit, you do have your spare tire, as well as a 2-inch receiver. In the back bumper, you just pull this cap off, and this is where we keep the sewer hose. Once fully extended, it is about 20 feet long. Just take a note of those 2 ears there. Those are going to be the same 2 ears that go to your sewer outlet. We just keep it stored away in the back bumper here to keep the smell out of the unit. In this corner, as well as all 4 corners of the unit, you do have a stabilizer jack. The way that works is you're going to take the tool, which is located in the front compartment, connect it to here, run that foot down to the ground. Once that foot contacts the ground, just giving it another 1/8 quarter turn just to snug it up, and it's just going to take any bounce or sway you see we have in the unit right now away. Right next to that, you do have your sewer outlet system. You're just taking that cap, giving it a twist, and it should pop off. You got the same ears that were on your sewer outlet. Just taking note of those notches. Just line those guys up, give it a twist, and just lock it into place. Then you got your gray valve and your black valve. You're always going to want to empty your black tank first. That's going to be your dirtiest water filled from your toilets. And then you can come behind that with your gray tank, which is going to be typically a little cleaner water filled from your sinks and your showers. Right up from there, you do have your main power supply. Just take a note of that ear there. It lines up with this ear on this side. You're just pushing that into place, giving that 1/8 turn. You got the threaded collar to really lock it down. If you follow that back, you do have your standard 30 amp plug end. Most campsites should have this and you can plug right on in. But let's say you're at home and you want to run your fridge, or your campsite only has 15 amp service. We do include a 15 amp park adapter. Just keep it in mind whenever you are using that adapter, you're going down to 15 amps of power, so you won't be able to run something like your air conditioner. Right next to that, you do have your black tank flush. The way that works is you're just going to pop that cap off, thread a garden hose into here. You're going to have your sewer hose connected and your black tank open. You're just going to turn that garden hose on, and that's just going to flush out that tank, washing away any debris or odors you have coming from inside the tank. It also helps with false monitor panel readings, because typically if you have a false monitor panel reading, it is just some debris hanging between the probes. Right next to that is a cable satellite inlet. And then you do have your city water connection. Thread a garden hose into there if you're at a site with service. Turn on the garden hose. It's going to pressurize all your lines inside the unit without the need to have your water pump running. Down at the front here, just take a look underneath the unit. You do have your fresh tank drain. You're just taking that valve, pushing it down. That's going to allow any water that's inside your fresh water tank to drain out. And then right here, just twisting this cap off, you could put a garden hose in here, turn it on, and it's going to fill your fresh water tank. That's what your water pump draws off of. Right here, you do just have your hot water heater service port. The main shut-off switch is just right up here. So with it down like that would be it off. If you would push it up, it just turns it on. You do have a pressure relief valve in here. Whenever you do get to your campsite, just giving that guy a little pull, just making sure you get that shot of water coming out of there, letting you know if there is water in the system. Inside this front compartment is just some storage, as well as your 25-foot water hose and just your 15 your park adapter I told you about earlier. Inside this black box, and then right up there is just your battery disconnect. With that switch on, the battery's connected to the unit. With that switch off, the batteries become disconnected from the unit. Underneath this cover are your 2 propane tanks. Most of the time you can just access what you need just by opening up this cover, but for the purpose of the video I will just take this cover right off. Start drawing off this tank. twisting that valve all the way open to allow flow to the unit. You got the on switch, which does turn on a little light underneath, and then you have the down and up. And right underneath this cover here is just your manual override. The way that works is there's another tool in the front compartment that I'm going to show you in just a second. You put that in there, and you can run your jack manually up or down if the jack were to ever fail or you didn't have power for whatever reason. Inside this compartment here is where you're going to find your little dish sink as well as your exterior griddle. I'll show you that up in just a second. But inside the front here, you do just have your tool for running your jacks, and then the tool for running your front tongue jack. Close this up for just a second. Go a little further down the unit. You'll notice you have your range hood vent. With this guy open, is going to allow you to evacuate the fumes you're trying to evacuate. Let's say you start traveling, you are just going to want to clip that guy back into place, as it allows for no dust to get inside the unit. If you do notice here, you got your low point drains right below here. Opening these guys up is just going to drain all the water that's inside the lines out of the lines. That way you don't have any water going stale or stagnant if you're leaving the unit for a while. And then inside this compartment here, you're just opening that up, flipping that open, locks it in place with this latch here. You do have a little mini fridge as well. This is where going to be your little sink area and your stove goes, which we'll get now. So you have your little sink tray, which just plops into place like so. You just have to loosen this one leg off. The other feet should plop into their holes, and then you just take this leg and you screw it back in. That's going to lock that griddle onto this mount. Then you do have your little garden hose attachment, which does just connect into here. You just line those two collars up, push, it locks into place, and then to unlock it is just as simple as that. Same thing. And to get that griddle going, you do just have your quick connect propane line. Popping that dust cover off, pulling the collar back while you push it into place. It locks in, then you can run that other end down, and you can hook it up to your other line. Popping that dust collar off. You notice that this is a valve. Whenever this valve is this way, it's allowing the flow of propane. As a added safety measure, you can't use the collar whenever it's open, so you do just have to close that off, which is going to allow you to press that in place, pull that collar back, lock it in, flow to the griddle, and at that point you will be able to fire it up. Just sometimes be patient, as it can take a few minutes just to clear all the air out of the lines. And there you go, it fires right on up. And then to take it all down, it's just the opposite. Keeping in mind, this little silver plate here, this is just your furnace exhaust. Whenever your furnace is running, this is going to be blowing up hot air. Just taking your assist handle, pushing it up, folding it 90 degrees, and it locks it in place. Take that door, open that up. To fold your stairs down, you are just taking that safety ladder, giving it a pull, allowing that to come down. You do have adjustable feet, so you can have level stairs for your camera. campsite needs. That down. Once you take a step on inside, you will notice first thing right on your left is just your fire extinguisher. That's going to be simple. Pull the pin and shoot. And if you take a step on inside, as we close that door, you do have all your lighting right on these switches here, as well as an awning LED strip, which is just underneath your awning. And then you do just have your slide out button. Hitting that button down, the slide out's going to make its way out. Once it's fully extended, you are going to hear the motor wind up and the clicking. So there you go, you heard that clicking, you know that is fully extended. To get that awning out, you are just going to hit that awning extend button. That awning's going to start making its way out. You'll know that awning's fully extended when you see the back of the metal tube and the little flap hang down. Unfortunately today, due to wind, we're not going to be able to get that awning fully out. We'll get the point of it. Once that awning contacts the side of the trailer, you know it's fully in. Right above your control panel here, you do have what's called a solar controller. Now it is more of a monitor than a controller, but you can push the buttons up and down, it'll illuminate itself, pushing enter, and you can go into some, it'll tell you your amp hour readings from days ago and the current one. Pushing back, pushing that down one more time, and you can go into your settings so you can change the different types of batteries you have. We currently do have an AGM battery in it. It'll tell you you could change this between Fahrenheit and Celsius for the battery temperature. That's about all that's going to do there. To get inside the bedroom area, you are just hitting this light switch, turns on the lights inside the bedroom. And then you do have two additional lights above your head here that are on their own center push buttons. And these lights in the bedroom are also on their own center push buttons, so you can turn them on and off as you desire. All the blinds in the unit do work the same way. You're just pulling them down. Wherever you stop is where they're going to stay. Pushing that down one more time and they're going to retract themselves. That window on the other side is a fire exit. You're just pulling that little red tab. That screen's going to pop out and you can take your handle, push it out, and hop on out of the unit. You do have a TV back here in the bedroom here with cable satellite outlet as well as two plugs. Both sides of the bed do have plug-ins as well as some storage space. Getting into the main living space, here you do have your thermostat, which is right on the wall here. To turn that on, you are pushing that button and holding it. It's going to first come on, and it'll come to whatever you have left it on last. So in this situation, it is cool. Pushing that fan speed button. Pushing that fan speed button will just change the fan speed from low, high, and then reverse, or sorry, automatic. Automatic is going to turn it to an on-demand system. Then you can push that button and it'll turn it to the heater, which will fire up the furnace, which does run off propane. With that being said, the furnace and the stove do both run off propane. We do have an LP detector down there. Propane's heavier than air. That guy's going to start going off, and if that guy starts going off, you are just going to want to turn off the main supply of propane in front of the unit. Just open up all the windows just to ventilate it out. Back to the thermostat though, you also have a dry setting, which is gonna try and dehumidify the air as much as possible with kicking the fan and air conditioner in as needed. At any point in time, you can just hit the up or down arrow. It's gonna change the temperature, and then again, just holding that power button is gonna turn everything off. Up above the couch, you do have some storage space as well as some individual lights. To get that couch, you can turn it into a bed. You are just undoing the Velcro for the cushions. Throw those off to the side for a second. Then you can just take the foot of the couch. You're pulling up. Those feet are going to unclip, making sure they stay down. That folds down, and then you are just taking the back of the couch, flipping it down, and it turns itself into a bed. To get it back into the couch area, it's just the same thing, but opposite. Making sure those feet fold back in, presses back in, and then you can just take your back cushions and put them back into place. In the dinette area, you do have this nice little overhead light, windows all around. The blinds do work the same way as in the bedroom. You got some storage space down below, and then your tabletop, you can turn this into a bed. You're just pulling these legs out from underneath, taking the tabletop, resting them on those ledges, and then you can take your back cushions, fill in the center, and you have yourself another bed. Getting to the entertainment center, you do have your TV. Behind that TV, there is the TV, the plug-in for the TV, as well as one extra one and a cable satellite plug-in. Then you do have your stereo. That's going to work the same way as home, just minus the fact that you have zone 1 and 2. Zone 1 is going to be interior speakers. Zone 2 is going to be exterior speakers. You do have some more storage down below. Whenever you are running your air conditioner, you have a few different settings you can run it on. You can run it on with these louvers open, and it's going to dump all its air into the main living space, or you can close these louvers, in which case it's going to move all its air through the floor or the ceiling ducting you see we have around the unit. And then the furnace is just going to move all its heat through the floor portals you see around. Getting into the kitchen area, you do have your sink with hot and cold water, as well as some storage space above. And then you do have a central vac in this unit, as well as they call it a no need for a dustpan. You're just pushing that up, and it is going to suck anything that's in front of it inside. Just keep it in mind, it is going into a bag, so you are just going to want to mainly keep it down to gravel and dust. You aren't going to be wanting to suck up anything too sharp or big. And then you do have the central vac, which the tool for that is just located underneath the front bed here. Lifting up that foot of the bed opens this up, and you do get some storage space as well as all the tools for that vacuum. To service that bag, you are just grabbing that open, and you can access your bag so you can replace it. We do sell more bags. You can contact our parts department for some of those. That locks into place. You do have your microwave, which is just like home, not much I'm going to show you there. Your overhead fan. These Surveyors do come with a nice cutting board as well as a cup in this area here. And then to get your stove going, you just flip that glass cover back. You're just taking that knob, pushing it in, turning it over to light, hitting that sparker on the left, and it fires right on up. To get the oven to go is kind of the same process. You're just opening that up, folding that down, turn this knob over to the pilot option, pushing it in, hitting the sparker, and it fires right on up, holding that in another second, letting off, and then you can turn it up to your desired temperature. Just keep it in mind, sometimes it does take a few minutes if you've left the unit for a while with the propane off. Air makes its way into the lines. It can take a few minutes just to clear all the air out of the lines, so don't be discouraged if it doesn't light within the first few tries. Just keep trying. And then you do have your Furrion fridge. All your temperature selections for that is just right down here, as well as your charcoal filter, which is replaceable, and you can contact our parts department for some more of those. It's just to help with some of the odor. And whenever you are having this fridge on the off-grid section, it is running on 12 volt, and it's going to be the most energy efficient option as well. You do have a pantry with a motion sensing light, as well as a couple hangers right on the wall. Getting into the bathroom space, you do have an overhead fan in here. You're just lifting that guy up. And the switch for that is just right on the wall here. You got the light switch on the far right, and the switch to turn it on is just on the left. Just always making sure you close that back up whenever you're done using it, or if it were to start raining, as you don't want it to get wet inside. You got some storage space on the left, your toilet, You get your shower with hot and cold water, as well as your sink. On this side of the wall here, you do have your main GFI plug. You do got reset in the middle and test on the bottom. Whenever that green light's on, it's telling you have a successful circuit. If you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, this would be the first place I'd look. And then you do have a tank, heated holding tank system. So you do have a pad on your fresh, your gray, and your black. It's essentially just a pad stuck to the bottom of the tank that warms up. It's for extended camping season. That being said, you wouldn't be able to go through a Manitoba winter with this, as it will freeze up. It's only good for maybe -2, if that. On the wall here, you do have your monitor panel system. You got your battery level, which will go low, fair, good, and C is charging. We're plugged in, so it's currently C for charging. And then you got your fresh, your black, and your gray, which goes empty, 1/3, 2/3, and full. And then you do have your water pump switch, which turning that on turns your water pump on. And then you have your water heater button. Turning this on does just turn this little panel on right beside the toilet. Pushing the button up or down does change the output temperature you desire. And then you can change the unit that it reads in just with that button there. There is a power button here, but you do just have the main power right on the wall here. Turning that off does turn the water heater off. That's gonna be it. Sorry. And then you do have your breaker panel. Whenever a breaker trips, it is just gonna sit in the middle, so you have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. And whenever a fuse blows, there is gonna be a little red indicator light telling you which one's blown. That is gonna be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.